He is a man of many, many talents. He just seems to ooze artistry in all of its forms. I'm being really honest with you. He has a career that has been really diverse and really inspiring. And he's finally here in the studio. So I'm really happy to have him on here. Mahmoud Rashad.
I had no idea you started having guests on the show. So now that you do...
I had to start with you.
Yeah. Am I the first one? I didn't know I was the first.
You are the first one of 2023.
Amazing.
There were a few in 2022, but you are the first guest of 2023, and I've been really excited about that.
Yeah.
Now, I want to talk about your journey because your journey I find to be extremely interesting. I've had, I like to say that I got to have a bit of a front seat on how things developed, and I've never been more proud of an individual, honestly. And I'm not saying that because you're on here, but that's the honest truth.
Thank you.
Because you are someone who was very well established in the makeup industry, and you were very specific about special effects as well. That is what your niche was.
Yeah. And
you made a really big name for yourself. By the time that we met, people knew who Mahmoud Rashad was.
Yes,
do you know what
true.
I mean? And that was a career that you really kind of grew from the very beginning. You went from the early stages and you grew that and grew that and grew that. And then at some point, things switched up.
Yeah.
And before I get to that, I want to know, when did you realize that you wanted to pursue a career in makeup initially to start off with?
When I wanted to start a career in makeup,
from the very beginning.
I was in college in New York, and I was a theater major.
Yeah.
And part of the prerequisites were a class called Makeup for Theater.
All right.
And before that, I had no idea about makeup. I didn't even know that this was a job that people can do for a living. And then I took that course, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And I actually started working in New York part-time off campus, assisting my professor that was teaching that class. And then I realized, okay, so I know what I want to do. Let me just do that.
Yeah.
And it started from there. And then I moved back to Egypt. I went to AUC.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, I was still working. I've been working since I was 18 or 19. And when I was 20, I met someone that introduced me to someone that I managed to get a gig on a film.
Yeah.
And just that was the beginning. And
that's how it unfolded.
That's how it unfolded. And I kind of learned how to do regular beauty makeup while working.
Oh, wow.
I was already working, and I just wanted them to hire me for more days, because when you do special effects, they hire you for the days when they need special effects only.
Yeah.
But if you do the other
makeup,
regular makeup, you can do the whole film. So I kind of learned beauty makeup on the job, on set.
Oh, that's brilliant.
And Nelly Karim was actually one of the first people to tell me, why don't you know how to do beauty makeup? Come, I'll show you. So yeah, that's a cute story.
Oh, that is a wicked story.
Yeah, and I've just been doing that since then, and one thing led to the other, and
With me in the NileFM studio is Mahmoud Rashad, director of Omidonia, and we're going to get to that. In fact, I want to start, we've already talked about, the part in your life where your career,
the early career.
You accomplished.
The early career.
Yeah, you accomplished so much when it came to your career in makeup, and people really did know your name. People knew your name. You were doing, classes.
Yeah.
And you were right there at the top. That was like the peak of where anyone can get within that career.
True.
And then at that very same moment, when all of that was just you were right there at the top of your game, you decided, I want more than this.
I think there was that time I was working on a film with the Egyptian actress Zeinab.
Yeah.
And we did that look for her where she looked like Cruella de Vil a little bit.
I love that.
And then went viral.
Yes.
And then we got approached by an event management company to do a masterclass tour.
Yeah.
Where I'm on stage.
It was a traveling one, wasn't it? I remember you were going to different parts
of the world.
Of the world, yeah.
And Sausan was with me, and I'd do her makeup live on stage, and people would buy tickets to come watch that.
Yeah.
And I think I remember at one of these shows, I think the one in Cairo, where I was standing there and I was like, you know what, this is it.
You were done.
Yeah.
That was the pivotal moment.
It just hit. I had no idea what I wanted to do next.
Yeah.
But I kind of knew that it's nice to leave now.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there's nothing else I want to do or would like to do with this.
Was it nerve-wracking knowing that you wanted to kind of step away from that because you had achieved so much? Do you know what I mean?
Not really. Looking back, I don't know because I had no plan.
Yeah.
And at first, I didn't think that I was gonna just have a career switch.
Yeah.
But I knew that I wanted
You're gonna expand.
I want to explore other options and not explore other options with the intent of them becoming my new career or my new job.
You're just going to try things out.
I just want to try something else. I feel like I've been doing this for 15, 16 years now.
Yeah.
And there's nothing else I can do with this.
Yeah.
Or at least for me, there was nothing else I can do with this. And I just wanted to, step out of the box a little bit, try something else, see if I...
See what fits.
See what fits. And then I took photography classes, I remember.
Yes, I remember that.
And I bought a very expensive camera.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I took photo editing classes as well online, and I started doing that. And
you took it very seriously. Like the one thing that I do notice about you is when you decide to do something, you really give it your 100.
Yeah, I like working. I like working. I like getting things done.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed photography, and I think I did well. I had more than 3 L covers. I got published in Vogue, Harper's Bazaar.
That's exactly what I want to be talking about, that Harper's Bazaar video.
Yes.
Now, for me, I remember seeing Night at the Museum.
Yes.
It was a fashion video,
Yeah.
and it was with the actress
With Zeinab as well.
And I remember at that moment in time knowing where your interest lies.
Yeah.
All right. That it was almost like you got handed this amazing opportunity, and you really kind of let out your creative side where you wanted things to look the way you see things, your visuals. Do you know what I mean? Because it was at the museum.
Yeah, it was at the museum.
Okay, and she was surrounded by everything that is ancient Egypt.
Yes.
And it felt like the beginning of something.
At that time, I've always been into Egyptology, and I've always been very interested in it. I never studied it academically, but
you really
I can read hieroglyphs.
Yes.
I've always been very, very into it, and I think I know a lot. And I just never thought of how to combine both, like my interest in art and my infatuation with ancient Egypt and Egyptian heritage in general. And I think when I started doing photography, the magazines would often ask me to do a fashion film with the photo shoot, and then I thought of this story to do at the museum with Sausan to go alongside her photo shoot, and it was very. It's very symbolic in a way.
Was.
The whole story is it's literally the story of the book of Coming Forth by Day, which is one of the religious books of ancient Egypt, but done very in a very subtle. It's a hidden Easter egg.
I get it.
Right.
You would, I know that you proofread a lot of things for other documentaries. Like people will fact check with you.
Yes.
How did that come about? Like
just from working on different Egyptology films, or related to ancient Egypt. So I would do that, and then, but working with foreign broadcasters or TV producers is great fun, and I really appreciate it. But I always wanted to do something for us. We do not have any documentary-based broadcasters here or TV channels, nothing.
Yeah.
And I had been working on developing something for an Egyptian audience for I think 2-3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2021, November 2021, I managed to get a deal with Watch It, which is the Egyptian
online platform.
Yeah. And they were very excited to produce it, and then we started writing it. Writing it took around 6 months, but I had already been writing from before signing the deal.
See, that's what I want to be talking about. Like, how is your writing process? Did you kind of like when you knew that this is something that you wanted to do?
Yeah.
Did you have a format that you decided that this is how I'm gonna write it. This is how it's gonna look.
Actually, yes.
Yeah, you did.
I knew. Because when you go to meetings to try to sell a project like that, you have have to have a treatment, and a treatment includes how the narrative is going to go, what's the build-up of the episodes, even the visuals, the color palette. How
it's like a mood board.
It's a mood board for a film, and we did 15. I like to call them films, but they are 15 episodes, and it's a docudrama. We have Sausan live on camera from different locations. We have drama scenes. We have animated scenes. We have cross sections. It's a very engaging project.
It really is.
It was a lot of work. But I think I think for the first time in my life, I felt like I was doing what I was supposed to be doing.
I get you.
And that was such a nice feeling to have.
I get you.
Yeah.
Talking about your many talents. Now, and the thing is, I know that you're very good when it comes to drawing, painting. Apparently, you are someone, if you are given a brush, you will paint something absolutely amazing.
I
wouldn't
wouldn't
told me that as well.
I wouldn't say I'm like a painter, but like, I can, yeah.
You could draw.
Yeah.
You could draw. You could really draw.
Well, it was part of my job back then.
Exactly. I mean, did that play a little bit into when you were doing these mood boards, let's put them that way, when you were writing your script, when...
Drawing, not so much. Actually, when I was doing fashion films, that helped because I would sketch
it all out.
Yes, I would sketch out each frame, and so I can visualize it before I actually film it.
Do you think having all these talents and managing to find a medium where you kind of can put all of these talents together, do you feel like you've reached a place where you are satisfied, or do you kind of feel like, no, there's more to be done?
There is always more. There is always more to be done. It's I feel like I'm on a journey, and I really have no expectations, and I just can't wait to see what's next. I'm very grateful for how well Omidonia did with people, because a lot of producers...
It was really informative. I think a lot of parents absolutely loved the fact that they could get their kids to watch it,
and even they were watching it.
Exactly.
And the problem is...
It worked for both generations.
And the problem with Omidonia is that a lot of producers were reluctant to produce such material because they didn't think anyone was going to be interested in Egypt. But then we had really, really, really good numbers, even surpassing a lot of drama series. So this is an accomplishment. Like there is a market for good, well-made documentary films that talk about our heritage. And really, Zeinab, I'm so passionate about our heritage, and people do not realize how rich and multicultural it is, and how interesting it is. Right now, like Omidonia season 1 only covered ancient Egypt, and then season 2 is going to cover the Coptic era and the Islamic era, and they're so beautiful.
I'm going to be super excited about that.
Well, we are in the process of preparing, so we're still we didn't even start properly writing them yet, but we're working on the structure of the episodes.
The mood board.
The mood board is already there, because it's going to be similar to... It's a format, exactly. But we're still developing the structure, because here's the thing, like, even with season 1, there are so many stories, right? And there's so many facts, and you have to find a way to tie all of this together in a way where it can be entertaining.
I get it.
So, and you have to filter a lot of information out and decide what to keep, what not to keep, and then find a way to tell the tale.
Exactly.
Basically. So that's what we're doing now with season 2.
Mahmoud Rashad, director of Omidonia, Mother of the World. That's me doing a nice...
The Motherland.
The Motherland.
When they asked me how would we translate the name of the show, Omidonia, I said the Motherland.
Motherland, and I love that.
Yeah.
I think that's brilliant. Now, you mentioned that you'd already been writing the script for this project before anyone kind of came around and said, listen, we want to do this with you, right?
Yeah. Way before.
When you were writing this, did you always have in the back of your mind that you wanted the actress Sausan Badr to be a part of this project? Was it always
her? She
her?
was on board from day one. Like, I had the idea. I called her, spoke to her about it. She was like, I'm on board, let's do this. And then it took around 3 years.
Was that because you guys like formed a bond in the previous years, doing the makeup and doing the tour with the makeup?
I think it was an accumulation of all of that. Definitely. She's like family to me.
Yeah.
So I think it was an accumulation of all of that. Yeah, definitely.
How was it for you kind of getting her to understand the things that she needed to be talking about in the documentary? Was there a lot of like lessons that were happening in the background, one-on-ones?
Here's the thing. She was genuinely interested, so that helped a lot.
Yeah.
And the stories are beautiful. They really are beautiful stories.
Mm-hmm.
And but she always preferred to understand the story instead of just memorizing the lines. So I would sit with her.
Which is a great way, I think.
Yes, and it made her memorizing the lines even easier. So we would sit for hours and we would discuss the episode, and I would tell her the backstory, even tell her how I wrote the episode, and then she'd start reading on her own.
If she hadn't been on board, it's just like metaphorically speaking here. If she hadn't been on board, who would have you had like as the next person in line?
If it wasn't for Sausan,
it's a hard question, but I know.
Hind Sabri, definitely.
Why?
Because again, she has that. You will listen to Hind. If Hind is talking to you about something serious, you will listen to her. You will listen to her, and you will receive information from her.
Likability, I think that's what you're talking about as well.
Likability and credibility.
Yeah,
I think Hind is very credible.
I get you.
As an actress and as a public figure, she's a credible, intellectual, cultured person, and she just has that reputation with people.
I get you. What are we to expect for the coming seasons of Omidonia?
Bigger, more exciting.
Bigger, better.
Bigger, better. I think the stories are even more because it's closer in time to us now.
Yeah,
there is a lot
relatable,
more relatable. That's for sure. We talk about Christianity for a big portion of the season, and their beautiful story. Coptic culture, Egyptian Coptic culture is fantastic, and I cannot wait to share this with people. To really, being Egyptian today, we're so blessed to have all these many cultural layers in our DNA, and exploring them and acknowledging them and taking them in is so important for our development as people and as a nation as well.
I think that's going to be great for you to shed a light on that.
Yeah.
With the last thing, before we have to go, because unfortunately we have run out of time. Before we go, I know that there are many young people right now listening to you, and your story is inspiring, and they want to be in a position where they can, achieve certain things in their life as well. What advice would you give them for their journey?
Zero expectations. Do what you love with having zero expectations. But just keep doing what you love.
Just keep doing what you love.
What you love, yeah.
That is it from us, guys. Thank you so much for being here. I loved every minute of this.
Me too.
I've been looking forward to it all week, and now that it's done, I'm super sad because it went by super quick.